Wow, a blockbuster here. So to give you a quick summation here, THR, a really deep reported investigative story that they came out with this week about a victim. Her name is Silly Abrams, and she basically is accusing Russell Simmons and AJ Calloway of sexual misconduct, and long story short, this story delves into that. She was trying to come forward during the height of Me Too through an MSNBC interview with Joy Reid, who hosts AM Joy, and the gist of it is just that the story got caught up with questions from from the network or whoever was overseeing Joy. And to just wrap it up in a nutshell, it goes into this NBC's chronic problem, NBC News' chronic problem with killing the Ronan Farrow story that started this movement, killing that. So I guess I want to just sort of get everyone's thoughts. And Anita, why don't you start us off here? Just what do you think's going on here?
It really speaks to me about the culture in NBC with the Matt Lauer investigation. They launched their own investigation instead of normally companies hire outside investigators, and so NBC did their own investigation and found that there was no kind of burying of what Matt was allegedly doing, harassing people in the company. Yeah. And then you had the whole Ronan Farrow thing. Yeah. You had the Access Hollywood tape, which they had, but they did not release. This was with President Trump making the comments about grabbing women by the pee. Yeah. And so the Washington Post, someone leaked it to the Post. So it really makes me wonder what is going on at NBC. Are they deliberately trying to suppress certain things?
Yeah. Jordan, what do you?
This story's tough just based on what I understand of it, because even Joy Reid is on the record as saying, well, the statement was from the network, it didn't meet our standards for an airtight story. And she even says I trust in the process here. And so, I mean, she's on the record as saying that, at that point now it becomes, it's like he said, she said type of thing. We're like, I don't know, were the standards of the network being upheld?
But haven't all these cases been he said, she said?
Well, to your point, if in the Matt Lauer investigation, that's a critical error right there. You bring in an independent unit to investigate that. When you don't, now you've really exposed yourself to criticism.
You mean media companies can't police themselves? What are you talking about?
I think the question's also in the process, though, because by the time we got to that network statement saying that it didn't meet their standards and practices, I mean, it had been months of them looking into it, and it went all the way up past Joy Reid's bosses, So I think that's where it comes into question, where they, how and when they killed the story. It's really complicated, but clearly there were receipts. If you read the Hollywood Reporter story, I mean, the receipts are there.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. And so the reporting on the Hollywood Reporter story really just blew it wide open of just the whole behind the scenes of just step by step of when it was brought to her and then when it was buried, pretty much. Well, now it's out there. Yeah. Thanks. So there, but I think I have a theory about this, and I just think that what some legacy media figures or executives are not understanding, that we don't live in the times we did 30 years ago. And I think they're still trying to apply these strategies and tactics, these PR, that the public's dumb. I mean, for lack of a better word. And I think as journalists, we're very insulted, obviously. I mean, I know I am. That there's still this idea of just, well, we're not going to comment, or, oh, it's not this, or it's they're still trying to apply the strategies maybe that back when Bill Cosby's stuff was being buried by they don't work now. I just think we live in a more woke society, for lack of a better word. But do you feel that there's a certain element of that?
Definitely. In the digital age, news happens fast, and so previously publicists or companies would not respond and the story might go away. That doesn't happen anymore, especially with the internet. I mean, I can send you a clip like with the Access Hollywood tape. If they won't release it, all it takes is someone uploading it and sending it to a reporter.
Yeah.
Right.
So many ways, so many more ways to leak things. My curiosity, though, regards the fact that so many of these incidents are happening under the NBC Universal banner.
Right.
Yeah.
So are they
Yes.
the ones they just have the most dinosaurs at the executive level, or?
It's funny because there is a certain, full disclosure, I did work at NBC Universal years ago when I was the managing editor of AccessHollywood.com, a good 5 years. So there is a lot of legacy executives within the ranks, but remember now, with the whole buy and the consolidation of Comcast coming on board, there is like a new layer of management that are like smart and savvy, but they're still sort of legacy people. And if you actually do the investigating, and without me mentioning names, you will dig into the departments that are troubled that end up having these legacy hands in there. So it's
There are
not
breadcrumbs
hard,
to all these different
it's not hard to
offices.
figure out. I think when a new company is sort of like acquired like that, and there was obviously a lot of issues there, but I think that with the Me Too movement in general, that the enablers aren't being held accountable. It's like you get Matt Lauer, but then it's like, who was Matt Lauer's boss at the time? Who was Matt Lauer? Like we know how this works. We work in the industry. We work in newsrooms. We know people gossip. We know people talk when there's bad behavior. Right. I just think there's a certain level of like the people that committed the crimes, the people that covered up the crimes, people that enabled the crimes. And it's like if you're not like cutting out that whole cancer altogether, then it's like
it's like the subway posters about like leaving a bag. See something, say something, right?
Yeah. If you see something, say something. Yeah.
Yes. I just have to hat tip to I thought this was an